Hi, it's Ben Cohen here from the 4D Library, and I'm going to show you some of the 4D Library site tools. First, I'm going to insert a lot diagram. I'm going to use the boundary setup tool around that lot diagram, which is just a bitmap. Then I'm going to place the site setout tool over that the boundary setout. Then I'm going to stretch the corners and then calculate the site coverage. After that, we can do some setback averaging, do two types of outdoor living calculations, do a Soakwell calculator, and also finally set up the tool for a slab set out using model view options or MVOs. Okay, let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is drag in my lot diagram. There you see it. This is something that you would see in a large scale locality plan. I really need to scale that correctly, so I'm gonna use the resize tool in ArchiCAD, and because it's just pixels, I need to really zoom in there. I'm defining this by, well, graphically, so you just stretch from one end to the other, and you can see that's 38360, enter, and there we have it. This is a handy tool in ArchiCAD, the resize tool, and you can see that's very close. Okay, so now I'm going to get my boundary setup tool. You can see it's in site and landscaping, boundary setup. And as I add more edges to the boundary, this will fill out. We'll get more and more rows here. At the moment, there's none because it hasn't actually been inserted yet. So I'll insert one in there. There you can see it. I'll put it right on that corner. And you can see there's some help. Step 1, place object at bottom left boundary corner. Step 2, stretch the hotspot for the length. Step 3, rotate the next boundary corner here. So here, stretch that out, make that 30 meters. As per the lot diagram, make this 105. See that just whizzed around. Make this length 17,250. Is that around 75 space 39 space 3? And now stretch this out to 38,360. And degrees, minutes, and seconds, 76 space 31 space 21. Okay, now you can see that last angle has corrected itself. So if I undo that, you can see because I haven't got the last leg of the boundary in there, it's not really making any sense, that last angle. But now once it's in there, we've got the same angle as our locality plan or our lot diagram. All I need to do is make that 75360. Oh, 17,536. No, 0. And you can see there, it needs another decimal place. We'll open it up. You can see all our lengths and bearings are in there. They can be adjusted if you need to. Then we can change the number of decimal places here. And yeah, 17,536. Okay, so let's move the bitmap around or out of the way. And now you can see we've got our site set out nicely. There's a bit of a misclose, so if we zoom right in there, there's always a misclose. It's probably 0.5 millimeter. If I go to true weight, you can see it's not far. But I'll just make sure that when I put my site plan object in, I get that hotspot, my beginning hotspot. Okay. All right. Next up, we'll do the site plan tool overlaid on top of these boundaries. Okay, now let's get the boundary set up and put it over in relation to our slab. Let's drag over, maybe get it in line with that corner. Drag it over a meter there, and maybe 2.5 down. And that may be all you need just for sketch purposes. But in this case, we're going to now get the site tool, so the site plan Setout 4D. And I'm just going to line it up with that corner there because of my misclose. That's good. Just stretch it around the corners. So drag that one over to there. You can see there it's not doing any lengths on the boundaries. So that's in the text settings. So the boundary text. Okay. So let's drag it over corner to corner. There we have it. Now my boundary setup is lining up perfectly with these lengths. So I'll drag that over. Don't really need that now. So why did I go to the trouble to do the site plan Setout tool? Well, this way we can do the site coverage. So at the moment you can see the site area is 577 square meters, but the coverage, this is the coverage fill. You can see this fill needs to be dragged around the building. So we can just stretch corners to corner all the way around. That used to be the way to do it, but now we can just select both these. So the slab and my site plan Setout tool, go into the 4D library menu, and then update site tools. You can see there that shape has been found and put straight into the site plan Setout tool. Circles around hotspots on the four corners or four midpoints of the internal fill. So these ones allow you to locate the fill. So you can see there the shape of the slab, which is now inside the site plan Setout tool, that is now getting moved as one unit. So I just need to line that up there. So now I have my site plan Setout and I have my slab, easy peasy. And you can see there we've got a site coverage of 244. It's telling me that my area isn't large enough for the house area. It's because it's zoned R2.5 with only 20%. That's more of a rural setup. So now if I go into zoning, I can just change that to say R30, which will give it a site cover percentage of 55%. These are all adjustable after you go R30 or R10 or whatever. Click OK, and that warning has now disappeared. Move my box a bit closer, maybe. So we're at a coverage of 42.4%. You can see also that the site plan Setout tool has dimensioned the site as best it can. These dimensions are all part of the site tool. You kind of get them for free. They can be adjusted as I'm doing, or you can get the hotspot, move it off 0, and they disappear. Sometimes they might not be how you want them, so just hide them. Obviously, you can also add your own dimensions in addition to the ones that are automatically created. So that's a great way to do the site coverage. Next, we'll look at doing the outdoor living, and we'll do some setback averaging. Okay, now let's check our setback averages. So we grab the setback tool. If we have a look at this, its position is in site and landscaping. I've just got it over on the side there ready. Drag it to the bottom left-hand corner, which is a bit of a theme. Rotate that line so it's in line with the front boundary. You can see there that the averaging box does not rotate with the line. Use Q to line that up. Okay. Then all I need to do is grab my two fills, which the 4D library automatically creates these fills. You can see they're the 4D in front setback fill and behind. Now all these fills that are in italics, they're created by GDL objects. So yeah, that's how we can get them into your project without you having to create them. So they will be in your project as long as the 4D library is actually loaded. So we've got the 4D behind and the 4D in front. So you can see they're slightly different. So here's the in front. So let's drag this fill over to where it's in front. I'll split that through there. Just select the fill. There we go. That's one. You can do multiple fills, that's not a problem. Just take that through to that point. Make that one. So they're the points of the project that are in front of the setback line. Now I'll get the behind the setback. It's a bit trickier than that meter. There might be planners out there that are telling me that I'm doing it the wrong way. Well, really, that's up to you to do this the right way. Oh, there we go. Add a node. Add another node. Line that up. Take that up to the 12 meter, I think. That's how you do it. Okay, and now I need to do some behind here. Go to polygon method. Trait. Can't go around into that alcove because it's surrounded by 3 sides. I know that much. And I'll just take that through to here. Just make that a meter wide. I'm just placing the area of each fill as a reference. Don't have to do it like that. Okay, I kind of think that's right. Um, Regardless, you might want to adjust your fills um, in a different way to me. But what we do, you now just go to the 4D tools menu again, update site tools. Oh, you can see it's calculated the setback averaging um, in here, and it's added to the site coverage box in the site plan Setout tool. Um, so if we go to the um, site area box in the site plan Setout tool, we can turn these off. They don't have to show up there, but we'll put them in there anyway. And yeah, there we have it. The three fills I've used behind the line and the two fills in front are added up, and we've got a positive setback average, which is what we want. Okay, that's setback averaging. Next, we'll go into the outdoor living calculations. In here, we've got outdoor living calculated already, and that's because I've just got a few fills over here sitting, waiting for me to use. So they're not done correctly. We'll go through how they work. Okay, now let's have a look at the open space and outdoor living calculations. So here I've got my fills just sitting over here. Let me zoom in a bit. So the idea is we can get this either the two fills for uncovered living, outdoor living, and covered outdoor living, or we can use this object that is a calculation for open space. Now, this is all thoroughly explained here in the 4D library help files. You can see in between the two red lines, we've got the open space advanced calculations, and underneath we have the outdoor living calculations, one using the single object and one mode using the two fills. All right, so let's get that out of the way. So the idea is we can grab that, we can put it over here and stretch it as we need. And keep it away from the boundary if you need to, depending on what your codes say. Let's get that object, bring it back down here so we don't have to keep going over there. Now you can see the open space, that's 88 square meters. If we update our site tools, we've got 88 squares. So the minimum outdoor living has been set in this object at 40 square meters. So the minimum, see the open space required here, that's the 40 meters, and the open space found is 80. Okay. Now there's a calculation in this object. So it divides it by 2 or 3 to create the minimum uncovered open space. So if we reduce that so it's small, it won't meet the minimum, and yeah, up it comes. Okay, so that's one mode. Now the other mode uses these guys. So these two fills, stretch them up there. That's the covered outdoor living. So we can assume this is an al fresco area. This is the uncovered living. So won't worry about eaves and what have you. Bring that back a meter or whatever we need. So we've got 79 and we've got 24. I dragged a copy, so let's delete these guys. Get that out of the way. Let's change our method to use outdoor living. So required 52 for the outdoor and 36.5 for uncovered. So all we need to do is update the tool, and here our achieved has now changed. So you can see the uncovered area is 79.2, and then the outdoor living, which is the total of covered and uncovered, is 103. Now, if you don't want to total those two fills together, you can actually tick this box, and yeah, it's not going to add them together. Okay, so like I said at the start, refer to the help file and this video, and yeah, I think you should be able to get your calculations working. And next up, we'll do the Soakwell calculator, and we'll do a final slab set out. Okay, now let's have a look at the Soakwell calculator. So it's over here. So the idea with this calculator is you plug in your areas, and then it does a calculation to work out the the number of Soakwells required, or the capacity of the Soakwells. So we can type in these values manually for the upper and ground floor, or a third floor, and the paving area if we want. And then we've got a capacity multiplier. So for that total area, we times it by that to find the capacity required. And here you can see there's the capacity provided. So I've only got two 900 by 900s. But what can happen here is we have that area, the roof area and the paving area, calculated automatically. So opening it up again, if we go into the setup, you can see there's our story indexes, our roof attributes, and our paving fill name and layer. So if I go over to my paving fill, that is using the floor tile 600 by 600. But when I go to here, it's using floor tiles 300 by 300. So I'll change that to 600 by 600. Then I just go into the 40 library menu and update the site tools again. And you can see here, I've got my roof ground floor, my paved area, and my upper floor. Now there's a roof plane here that I've left. If I delete that and then go into update site tools, you can see the roof area has changed for the ground floor. So that's now saying I need a 3.4 cubic meters of capacity, and I times it by our multiplier. So I need more Soakwells. So back over to the first page, I'll use some bigger Soakwells, say 1200 by 1200, the big babies. And if you go back to the front page, still need more capacity. So I might be able to just add a small one. Yep, that should be enough. Enough Soakwells provided. Click OK. And you can see the Soakwells provided are listed, but then the Soakwells appear on plan, and then we can just move them over to the site. One over here. and I'll put one here. Then I can move the info box as well. Just move that down here. And then there's a little note here saying that all the downpipes are connected via stormwater pipe. That can be edited. That's in the settings, the wording there. We can also go to the 40 library model view options and go to the clearances and show the object clearances. So see Soakwells in clay, Soakwells in sandy, they're preset. You can make that whatever you like. And that shows some clearances for the Soakwells. So these ones are fine, being the front. And in the back, yeah, I'm not in the clay soil, but that is fine. So that's just one of the many checks you can do in those clearances provided in the model view options. And there you have it. That's our so-called calculator. So next, let's have a look at the model view options again and how we can set up views, two views. One view that will show our site plan like this with the setbacks, and one with a full slab layout. So at the moment, our model view options are set out plan. So I'm just going to duplicate this view. I'll call it slab layout. So it's exactly the same. I'm just going to go into the settings there, and I'm going to change the model view option to, actually, I'll keep that. That's called set out plan, and I'll change this one to site plan. Okay. So now moving from one to the other, there's not much difference. But if I open up the slab layout, go into site tool overrides, and I'll do the full set out. And then you can see here we've got some other overrides active. I'll leave those as is. And then back in site plan, I'll go to the site tool overrides and I'll change it to this one, which is what we we're looking at before. So now should be able to go to the slab layout and the site plan. So actually the slab layout, we probably don't need the site coverage. So over here, I'll just get it to hide the area box. So now we've got site plan and we have slab layout. So what's the slab layout? So the slab layout, that creates a dimensioned site that will run, I guess, profiles down the extremities of the slab. So this is for your concreter, so we can set out the slab. So we just need to move these two corners that the center arrow points to. So this one needs to go up to the back here. Just get the locking on. And this bottom one, that needs to come down and line up with the front of the building. And you can see there we have text that we can move. So that's the distance from this peg through to that set out point. We generally ignore the garage. So that's why I've gone to this point, because this is the garage. And then really that, if we're ignoring the garage, that goes to this point. Yep. And all these dimensions update. Grab it from that point to reduce the size of the dimensions. So, this dimension is going from this peg through to here, and it's nice that we've now got this diagonal going to the other point. We can flip that if we like, but really what we want is this point here to be dimensioning to this corner. So we'll just go through to the upper dim placement and we'll just check those 2 points to be dimensioned. And you can see there that dimension's now flipped. Similarly, if you want to get rid or remove a string of dimensions and do it manually for whatever reason, you can just take it to the inside and they disappear, and you can now manually dimension that. You may need that if your set out point, if your site is really odd shaped and you have a set out point that lands over here, the dimensions go crazy. So you need to remove that bit of dimensioning. Um, Handy for that. I'll just undo that. That's it. Hopefully you have a better understanding of the 4D library site tools. Thanks for watching.